What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 99 of the podcast. My count was off. I thought this was 100. Ends up being I named after 94, I went straight to 96. And it was funny because I remember there was interference with holiday stuff that we wouldn't get to 100 for like a week or two. But so January, hopefully, as long as Joey's free, January 2nd, which is a Thursday, episode 100 of the podcast should be a thing. It'd be cool. I didn't know what to do for it, and so I put Colin in charge. So hopefully Colin does some cool stuff, very entertaining things, and everybody's gonna be excited for episode 100, right, Colin? Right?
Yeah. He's got 2 whole weeks.
I got some ideas. We'll see how
some
it
ideas,
out.
some plenty of time, and hopefully you guys can check it out. Hopefully it's actually good. So, welcome to the podcast. With the I stopped introducing you all a long time ago, but if you guys want to help support everything we do here and help make things smoother or nicer or help us get places, patreon.com/TCG Scrubs. You can be a patron. We have a lot more content being recorded now to help out with there, as well as on the main channel. You guys can obviously check that out. But head over there. We have the patron podcast, which is for all patrons, and then the additional content goes for $5 a month. And then over at Happy Little Hug Factory, you can actually start pre-ordering your boxes for the new set. Now, something I was noticing on the starter decks for the new set is I don't think they have nearly as many as they did before. So if you're wanting to make sure you secure those, I'd probably pre-order sometime soon before everybody else starts jumping on it, because unless those numbers change, they could. Who knows? We'll have to communicate with him and find out. But the numbers were lower than I noticed that the current starter decks were at. Yeah. But following that link over there, it will help support us and everything that we do here. They'll know that y'all traveled through our link, which is what helps us, as well as when you make your purchase through it. I think Colin was saying if you save that basket for later after having traveled to the link, it doesn't really affect it the same way anymore. And they also have singles up for the new set, so if you're looking for anything from there, some things have been sold out. I know, like, was it Light of Raise and Revive was actually sold out everywhere.
That card's so good.
But they still had a couple copies left, so things like that could be something to look out for.
Yeah.
Do you think? No, I'll jump into that.
Well,
right. I was gonna start like asking other questions. Like, do you guys think the Light of Raise and Revive is better than the other two cost like chance spells?
What
like
are the other ones?
Bloody Break and the other Bloody Break is Melgus's, and the blue-white one, I don't call it.
The blue-white one is remove target resonator or addition from game and has the one awakening, obviously.
And what was the Melgus one?
It's destroy target J/resonator and then the awakening.
I think Melgus's is probably number 1, and then number 2 would be Light of Raise and Revive, only because to kill a J/resonator is cool, because like I'll have like a Raise and Revive in hand. It's like, oh, can't hit that J ruler, or I can't hit that thing that costs more than 3, you know. So yeah. I would say that one's probably a little bit better.
But then, do you think that removing a resonator is better? Like, obviously, they're different.
It can be.
There are different uses.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously different uses, because like with we'll just call it Lenneth and Melgus's different ones. But with Melgus's, like, you can't hit somebody who has Eternal. But with mine, I could, like Lenneth, you can't hit somebody who has Eternal and just remove them from game. It's situational. I don't know like how they affect in different decks, but like I know in Lenneth, it's like we're playing the other day, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna play my version with what's her name, Faria. Remove that Athena from game. I'm like, okay, let me get this 3 cost and put it over here. Light of Raise and Revive. I'm gonna put that back into play because it has multi modes on it. So, either remove a 3 cost.
Well, because there's not a lot of, you don't have like modes to choose from for that, so you can only remove it from game. So when you're going against the Lenneth type of deck, like. There's not a lot of option. I mean, obviously, sideboarding into regular destruction would be the way to go. But, you know, it's better to do that and move it off the field temporarily and have you bring it back later than nothing, I guess. But, yeah, I noticed that, the remove from game stuff is really strong, but now it just fuels the Lenneth deck, so you got to be careful how you do it now.
Yeah. I was kind of surprised, because I know when we looked at everything, I thought the Regalia Break card was going to be like really in every deck or something like that, or every red deck, because there's a red 2 cost that destroyed the Regalia, but these or some of these other options are really bad, like the removal, the Laneth removal hits Regalia. You know, anything, honestly, anything less than 3 costs. But I thought the Regalia break would be like a top.
It hits like
the one.
all of the strangers too, I think, which is like actually really good also.
Yeah.
Well, I like that one cost addition that it's only 1 cost and it removes Regalia as well, as assuming that your opponent doesn't destroy it at some point, and then it comes back. But I thought that was a really nice addition. It's only 1 light, so it can be slotted in either the Lenneth or the Faria, or if you pretty easily slotted into the Melgus as well, as if you really want to. So
yeah, I think that card is also really really good. I think I have to say I think Bloody Break is probably technically the best one, just because you can like double cast it with Shakti also. So like there's a lot of like good stuff, but I feel like Light Raise and Revive is like the modular, and it's really good.
She duplicates sword art or sword
Yeah.
something or other, right? Yeah.
Sword Arts, yeah.
Okay, sword arts.
Which is why she's amazing.
yeah.
I grasped that topic as much as we can. It's been a slow week in Force of Will for things happening.
I'd throw it out there.
Yeah, we don't have too much. We're gonna go over a couple of events for the week that happened recently. I was able to find as many lists as I could find, and we're gonna, I guess, just jump into it and take a look at it and see what the opinions of everybody are. And since Joe doesn't do a Joe's Corner anymore, I don't feel bad about taking these lists and covering them on the podcast now.
Yeah, that's fair.
I was waiting to hear you be like, "Oh, I got a nice computer now. Maybe I'll give it a shot. It'll be really cool."
If I have to edit some stuff for Christmas time area, so if I find it like way more enjoyable because of the faster processor and it renders faster and everything,
yeah.
I might end up giving it another go.
That'd be cool. I'll help out.
That's what.
Anyways, yeah. I'm just gonna check out the list.
Yeah, I was actually double check with Colin on the stream. Like, you don't have your echo thing going, do you?
Oh, I might. Yeah.
I realized it as soon as we started talking about that whole Regalia thing, and then I was like, I don't know what to ask. I started to zone out near the end because I really wanted to ask. It's a stereo setting, right? And it just makes this echo for our audio, I guess, right?
Yeah, because it simulates surround sound passively, which OBS doesn't know what to do with that information.
Yeah. All right, so I posted these lists in our Discord that we're looking at here for the call, and it was 2 events. And I think in our news, I may have had it backwards, saying that Ryan Miles went to the Wander event, but he didn't. It looks like he went to the Chicago event that Jeremy went to.
Wow.
So let's actually take a look at the Melga's list first, because I think the other 2, the Isis and the Atom, made it to finals. So the Melga's would probably be the best one. This was Ryan Miles' list here. You guys start chopping it up and going at it. I just want to comment that I as somebody who used to assemble a lot of the lists for our website, when I was doing that, I like that he made a strangers section, because everybody was like, "Oh, I don't know where to put these. I'll put them in the ruler line." So, like with the runes.
Yeah.
I'm interested. He's not running like the regular kind of two strangers each. He's got the 1 cost stranger and 1 Cuckoo Lane, I think, is the other one.
Which one's 1 cost? The black one on the far left?
Yeah, the black one on the far left. It's one that enters and then you pay life, and it comes in with the +1/+1 counters.
Oh, okay.
And for every 700 life paid,
Right.
you draw a card.
Okay, I didn't know he was 1 cost. That's what threw me off.
Yeah, he's
insane.
Shade is amazing. I saw a couple people. I saw the deck being played by, who was it, Oscar? The video that you sent me.
I don't know.
Okay. Anyways, it's definitely really good. It's like the main plays are Shakti and Bloody Break.
Yeah.
Breaking, and then the Regalia are just amazing. And then something that I didn't think about, but March of the Dead is actually really, really amazing. in this build because you can grab pretty much every stranger except for Regulus in there, and like that's just insane.
How far is this from your list, by the way?
So I made a new list. It's I think I added the March of the Deads because they're so good. The first list I had wasn't really like this. I ended up seeing I think I had 2 Percivals, and then I saw like how strong they are, and like getting the kind of the purpose of this is to draw your strangers. Like that's where 90% of your power comes from, because like if you look at this, your only threats are like Blazer, but he's not really a threat, and Shakti, because you can use the opening the red eyes, but nothing else is a threat. Like you got 12 1-cost cards that are just there to draw you like fuel more stuff.
I have a question. So why the black card? What's it called again?
The March of the Dead?
Yeah.
Basically because you can bring it, like you can bring back your strangers is basically the way I believe is like the strongest part of it. Okay. Like if you play Shade and then Shade dies, you can like March of the Dead to bring Shade back, and then Shade like enters and they banish another thing, and then he'll die again and banish another thing. I think it hits all of your like I think he's playing Fire Wizard instead of any Barbados. I don't know if that card on the far right is that Barbados, or is that, I'm pretty sure that's a red black one that gives everything swiftness. But yeah, it's just like it's that, and then also you get to replay Percival and Shakti also. Like there's a lot of really good targets for it to hit. And it's actually really smart. I think it's a really good tech. But yeah, and basically like Percivals are like actually amazing to get like Regalia, and then the Regalia have so much value and stuff. I don't know. Yeah, it's super cool. It's a really cool deck, and it's crazy strong.
Yeah. Just waiting for you.
Any thoughts on it?
Oscar?
I was actually saying I was waiting to hear from Colin.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, it's I think it just comes down to, I'd be curious to see like it being played out, because I think what it'll boil down to is there's a lot of cool choices and stuff, but with things like, I think Melga specifically, there's such a specific number of like really solid cards that a lot of the decks are going to be very similar. So I'm just curious how it's played out, how it gets around the, like, say, Stranger RNG, which could just be, like you had mentioned, just adding a lot of draw power to the Stranger deck, or drawing Strangers a lot, and so just statistically you're hitting what you need at some point, and you're building a hand for later on and all that. But it's pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah, like it's surprising they're playing Athena, because I don't know how you can play her. I don't know how the deck really plays her, but I do think it's really interesting.
He just plays her?
Well, no, she costs white, and there's no way to generate white.
There's two red white stones in this deck.
Are those
the far right
stones at the very end?
That's
I thought those were both red stones. Yeah. I guess that makes a lot of sense, because usually, like, I was running 2 red stones, but there's no reason to not run. Just put
there's no consequence.
Red, white. Okay, yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, especially as a one of just like one random card that you're gonna use it for.
Well,
that's why like
still be played with Awakening the Flame King.
On our gameplay, I had 2 extra spots, and so I threw in the 2 water magic stones that can you banish into pay 2 for Awakening, because why not? Doesn't hurt to throw those in rather than basics, and there could be a random scenario where I'm 2 away from the Awakening on Erendite for some reason and really need to play that. So who knows? So it's like, might as well.
Yeah. The only thing I don't know how much I like Awakening the Flame King. Like, I think it's a great card, but I don't know if there's anything better you can play in this deck. Like, if there's other choices.
Yeah. Well, to wrap that one up, he did go 4-0 in Swiss, and then
Okay.
lost immediately in Top Cut. It looks like
Oh,
he got 2-0'd swiftly. His words were.
it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Do you know what he lost against? Or
Yeah, Adam.
okay,
Yeah.
that's I'm not too surprised. I think anything that can cancel those strangers is where a lot of the they're taking all their power from the strangers. So if you can deal with that,
Yeah.
and like J-activating and stuff.
So we'll take a look at the next section. We'll do the Adam last because spoilers, that's what won the whole event. So we'll go with ISIS
Oh,
first. yeah.
Jesus. Jay?
So I was looking through the runes first and stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean the runes are semi-typical in a way. Like Athena's love, and then the I forget, godly aura. It's been so long since I've messed with the runes. Power of immortality. I've just been playing with Lennox for so much. The only thing I thought was crazy is that very first one. What was that first one? Is that the poison one, or am I wrong? I had to pull it up. This the one below is it draw a card, gain life. So that's actually pretty solid.
Yeah, it's the poison stinger. Is his first card, which is actually a decent card.
Looking it up right now, but
It deals 300 damage, and then you double any consecutive damage on the target.
which is actually pretty good because like with Godly Aura just pinging stuff, that could do double damage there.
Yeah, but do you really need to double damage? Like that's already a bunch of damage.
Potentially, I mean you could be low on
usually,
runes.
Yeah, usually Godly Auras are huge. Okay, well, I got a chance to look at the kind of rune deck. Now I'm gonna look at the main deck because
Yeah, I mean stones though, like so it was red black in this.
Yeah, I was looking. I don't know. I want like the stones. I can't even tell what stones those are. Oh wait, that's a sideboard. I was looking at the stones. Yep.
Oh my
4
God.
red black, 4 red white,
So
2 red stones.
I'll take cookie cutter on this main deck. Looking at it real quick is obviously you have your 4 ices, 4 Nyars, and 3 of the godly auras. Searcher, 2 of, not bad. Obviously, it's up to whoever's running it how many they're gonna run. I do all of them. I had 4 of them in mine,
Yeah.
and then was it Light of Raise and Revive? So for the removal.
Oh yeah, lights it. That's an amazing addition to this
Mhm.
because like there's nothing that you have to play that with the new rulers.
Yeah.
with Len.
Yeah.
And then if you get your moons going, you have all that will. Then I know that was it. It's not Kukunochi. What's that card right there? Izanami. Izanami has what the 3 costs. Grab a card from your graveyard, put into play. Right? If it's a certain cost or less, or is it just any card?
I don't know what she does.
You know what Izanami does?
Hey, wait, is she the new one?
She
Yes.
is the new one. Yeah.
It's three cost or less.
Okay. Still
So
pretty
you
good.
pay
'Cause that
3
hits.
to get anything 3 costs or less in your graveyard.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty
Into
decent.
play. Yeah. That's pretty solid.
Is it-
Because your all your targets are less than 3.
Is it a static activate ability, or is like on
It's
on enter?
it's like inheritance.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
white,
got it.
white, red, discard this card, put target resonator with total cost 3 or less from the graveyard to the field.
Oh, okay, that's
It's
really
all
good.
clicking. It's all coming together.
Well, I thought she like had to be on the field, and then she just started bringing stuff back to the graveyard or something.
No, and also
that's definitely
unfortunately,
really
like, you can't use a regalia. They don't have the regalia in here, but like I know that one of the big deals was like you can't use a regalia to pay for that from hand because it's not considered the whatever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't even
It's just
know
a resonator
anymore.
card. Yeah.
Yeah. It's silly.
But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they have a bunch of draw power with Dark Alice and Guinevere. Like, I think I really like that like Dark Alice Guinevere combo. Looks pretty cool.
That's true.
The miners. I'm surprised they still play the miners, all 3 miners. I mean, not that surprised. They have utility beyond their mana fixing, but I feel like you hardly even need it with
I mean,
like how good that mana.
would
cool it is.
would paying 1 to get a moon not be worth it?
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not too surprised, especially because the other guy just deals 400 damage to stuff anyway.
Yeah.
So
Well, I was just more asking, is it worth it?
I don't really think it's worth it to me. I feel like there's other cards that I would want in there. Like other, I mean, he already has the 3 Godly Auras, so there's no other 1 cost that I don't know. But like, well, couldn't you play like more Raisin Revives maybe, or I don't know.
What's that Melgus card do?
It's Flame King Shout. It's Awakening of Flame King.
Mm-hmm.
It's you can deal 800 damage to them. You can make them banish a Resonator, or you can deal 400 damage to their field and play a 3 cost or less from your hand, which are all amazing, by the way.
Yeah, no, that's super good card.
Yeah, no, like Flame King Shouts, Awakening of Flame King is a really excellent card. It's like I like all of the modes, and being able to play like Isis, or sneaking in like a Nyarlathotep or something. Like there's some really good stuff in there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious, what does the card on the bottom do?
Which one?
The 3 red cost 500, 800.
Oh yeah, I actually
like,
just looked it up. So she's 2 red less if you control 5 more fire magic stones, and so all the stones are fire magic stones now. And then enter, and it was target resident gains plus 400 attack until end of turn, and then rune 4, that card has swiftness. So that's like a potential just 1-drop 900 person that's gonna swing in at some point. When it enters.
Can it enter itself, or is it another target resonator?
It's target resonator, so it can hit itself.
Nah, that is pretty good. So rune wise, you get to play a lot of these really easily, huh?
The runes? Yeah. No, these runes go off
like
super easy. Like
super easy. Godly Aura is really easy. Power of Immortality is really easy.
Yeah, no, I'd say they're all easy, for sure.
Wow.
Some of them are like being situational, like, ooh, do I want to play that now with like Athena's Love and Godly Aura, like when you're gonna hit it? Because I haven't played the Isis list when I first created it. It's like Godly Aura is like, I could play this and just either get the moon or ping for some damage, or I can wait to get the full potential of the effect of having, is it Nyarlathotep in play and then getting both modes. So I don't know, it'd be interesting.
It seems like a good deck. It seems like it hits and destroys a lot of stuff. Like it's got a lot of good removal.
Yeah,
it's got the 3 Godly Aura,
removal, destruction, burn.
Yeah.
Throwing down a bunch of people and swinging in with them.
A lot of good swiftness. Like, oh man, Athena is so good.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite plays back in the day was Flame King Shout into the old Athena, because she was I think she was like a 7/7.
Oh yeah,
that
I remember.
When she hit, she would like deal 500 damage, and then she'd get plus and plus on counters. I don't know. She is super good.
So here's a question I have with you on this list. Looking at it, Izanami, knowing what she does, like, what are your targets that you're like, you know what, I really want to get this in play as soon as I can? Because I'm assuming that with a Dark Alice, you're probably going to fuel that graveyard up with a couple cards that you're going to easily pop back out, right? Or am I wrong? I guess it's still 3 technically, so there's not much advantage to just doing that fast, huh?
Well, no, you pretty much get to like recycle any Isises that they kill. Is my that's my first thought, and then my second thought is any Nyarlathoteps that I want to bring back in.
Yeah.
I see her as like, you never really want to cast her. You want to use her to cast stuff that you discarded from Dark Alice, or stuff Isis that they managed to destroy.
You can do stuff like if you're at any point doing things like Guinevere or any other type of mechanism that's dumping cards into your graveyard, or you're doing risky plays early game by playing Isis even though you don't have any more Isis in your hand. It makes it a lot easier to do those types of things, because if it goes to the graveyard, you can just reanimate it later on for the exact same cost of it. So there's less risk in that. So you're able to do things like milling your deck with Guinevere or some other card in order to hit certain triggers, or playing the early game. Like I've had that when playing against Oscar, where if he plays his Isis or something early and I kill it and he doesn't have another in hand, then he's sort of just waiting and stalling out until he can get to the other one.
It does suck.
and this eliminates that. It adds consistency, and so the only way to really stall the deck out is to not only kill it but remove it from game or some variant of that.
Yeah.
So I can definitely see how it could add efficiency to the deck.
Yeah. It's interesting seeing this list because I know, like I was mentioning the other day when we were recording, which hasn't necessarily come out yet, but I was saying like one of the next things I want to build was going over ISIS again, and it's like it's hard to see something like this and then not be influenced by it because like stuff stuff I didn't even consider is the red girl on the bottom that we were just discussing, the 5/8 right now. Melgus's thing that he has. I knew I was gonna put Raise and Revive in it. All the stuff across the top is typical that would go into it. I was gonna put Guinevere in it too, and then Izanami hadn't even crossed my mind really. I did want to put Athena in it though, and then Dark Alice. I wasn't even gonna put a Dark Alice into that.
Well, I don't. Yeah, were you planning on playing red, white, black?
No, I was probably gonna go with red, white. Yeah.
Cause a lot of these choices like don't make any sense if you're not committing the black to it. You know?
Yeah.
Are you saying putting in a third color doesn't make sense if you're not running third color stones, Joey?
If you never consider a third color, then like of course you never consider how good Awakening the Flame King is.
Are we discussing Azure Spirit's Isis?
Yeah, we are.
Oscar and Joey really like it.
Yeah. No, and like I don't think you guys put a lot of thought of like playing Dark Alice, even though she's like one of the best cards in recent memory. Like Colin didn't have her in his white blue control Faria list, which I think is a huge like.
Wait, what did I not have?
You don't play Dark Alice in it.
Oh yeah, no.
But she's like literally the best control card in like a long time.
Yeah, I'll encounter. I'll think about it once I start encountering a consistent issue with my deck.
Right,
which hasn't happened.
Just think about like I don't know. She's just something that you like. You should be slotting.
I want to try and build decks that I can afford to build in real life. How about that? I don't want to drop $30 to $120 on 4 cards. If I want to do that, I'll go play Magic.
And it's funny because I think that only gets you the Nyars in the end.
do you not even have any Dark Alice cards?
I give them all to Oscar, I think.
Oh.
Yeah, we traded. We traded, to be fair. We did some trades. So.
You traded.
Yeah, before it was $30. Like, oh, let me trade for this. And my cards went thunk, and his cards went thunk.
Colin's like, I like machines. Give me those machines.
Yeah, I'm a Patrick in chat. Patrick in chat said he bought his singles on release day. That's actually really smart. A lot of them were super cheap back then. They're like $5, $6, $7 on some, maybe $9. Like that's not bad compared to where. To be
fair, we didn't predict that Force of Will was just not going to send stuff. that was something that took us all for a loop. How much did you pay for your singles to Zero, by the way? I'm curious. Or some of the ones that are like $30 and stuff now.
Yeah. Actually, I had messaged him. We'll see what he says here soon.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of good parts and bad parts to buying like as soon as the set comes out, or like.
Well, it's never paid off before in Force of Will. It's paid. I mean, like it's paid off kind of with things like Severing Winds and stuff like that. Right. But on the whole, it's like, ooh, it's just the excitement factor of like, oh, I want these cards and build my deck day one, and that's the reason you buy singles ahead of time. Well, most of the time because you're gonna lose out.
If you're savvy enough, I definitely think you would see Dark Alice and be like, that card's going far. I'm gonna buy mine like when they're $6 right now. You know, you don't look at cards like I don't know.
When's the last time we had a regular art break $10 though?
I don't know. I don't follow
well, that's my thing. Is like, yeah, I saw the full art for that, but whatever. I don't care how much full arts are, but I saw the full art for that going out. I didn't predict the non-full art being $3 less than the full art at $30 or whatever it is. But because like even in cases like that, that's happened for like Severing Winds, for example. I think Severing Winds peaked at $18. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm thinking of the full art. But I Am I wrong, Oscar? What did Severin Winds peak at?
$20. And
$20. Okay. Yeah, sounds. But that made a little bit more sense because every deck ran Severin Winds because every deck was running green, and if you weren't running green, you could still run Severin Winds. So like, people were buying playsets with that to put in every single deck across the board, and even at that, it capped at $20. So you have Dark Alice, which specifically goes in yellow decks, which are one of the stronger decks, but they're still in contention with red decks and such. It's not like a single Dark Alice deck that's dominating. So the fact that that's already at 30 is like insane-o to me.
30 is a very lot. I think
a very lot.
We're. I think
real quick, Patrick did say to answer Colin's question that he had asked on the. I lost it. To answer Colin's question earlier, though, I paid about $150 for supers for Adam and Isis.
Oh, for all the necessary supers for Adam and Isis.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in hindsight, that's a killer deal considering just the Dark Alice are $120 for that.
Oh yeah.
So for $30, he got all the other ones. So yeah, in hindsight, yeah, that's worked out really well. I still prefer just when possible just buying a booster box and trying my luck there, but yeah, no, I keep forgetting to check what rarities I'm missing or full art rarities I'm missing for my machine deck, but we'll see. I'll probably look into full arting the Knights of the Round Table deck for old time's sake.
Yeah, no, I almost have a full art Lenneth deck. Just there's some cards that I'm not gonna get the full. For Athena's full art are what 20 a piece right now or something like that, or 14.
Are they?
Somewhere between 14 and 20 a piece, and I'm like, I'm not paying that. Like this is a cool deck and all, but I'm not paying that. I'm okay with having like 8-10 cards that are just not full art because of how much they cost. Rays of Light and Revive is one of them. That's another card that's like 20 a piece and almost sold out. Like I don't even know there's a full place that you can pick up off TCG Player anywhere of that card right now.
See, that's why I was kind of leaning towards that card as like the best card among all three of those versions, just because of the like large demand and how popular red white is.
Yeah. I'll just kind of stalling here for a few seconds before we continued on the list or other lists.
I guess we're stalling.
Yeah, I'm going to add actually Patrick to the call if you are cool with that. So if you have questions about that list, you can actually ask him right now.
Okay.
And then he played the final list, so I figure that's another good reason to bring him in. He won't have no video. He will have audio, and he will be capturing his audio, so I can use that.
Tight.
World coins are going for 20 cents plus 80 cents shipping. What?
Okay, there we go.
Hey,
hello.
How's it going?
Hello.
How are you guys tonight?
Good. Actually, it was great timing when I saw you start commenting in chat. I was like, oh.
I literally just got done with raiding in FF14, and I was like, oh, hey, look, they're streaming.
Yeah. So I wanted to bring you on so you can help us understand your list better. Cause I'm sure we're butchering it probably, right?
I heard like the last bit, and I'm like, oh, I wonder what they're talking about.
So my question was on Dark Alice. Like, what's that? How's that working? Like, what's that really taking advantage of in this deck?
It's 4 more Guinevere's.
4 more.
That's it. It's 4 more Guinevere's.
Okay.
I'm not using it. Well, Grave Protection does help in some matchups, but it's mostly just for the raw power. I don't use it for fixing or anything.
Okay. And Izanami? What's your goal?
There's no... You can't counter Izanami right now. That is just guaranteed. I'm going to grab Isis from my grave unless you have a Athena on the board or a Burial Rites in hand. That's it.
Because it's an inheritance ability, not a...
Yeah, it's an activated ability. You can't Erendite it, you can't Kaguya it, you can't stop Izanami right now.
Wow.
That's a good point, yeah, because Lorite's gone, which didn't have to have a solid target, essentially.
Do you usually target, like, Isis for the most
just
part?
Even sometimes, like, on turn 3, if I see an Izanami in my hand and an Isis in my hand, by that time I would want to pitch the Isis with Guinevere or with Dark Alice, and leave up the will for interacting on their turn just in case. And then if they don't do anything, alright, instant speed, Izanami at the end of your turn, grab Isis, do things on my next turn.
That's a good point. Yeah, I forgot about the quick cast speed and on top of that, so you're able to actually wait for your opponent to do all their things on their turn, assuming you have a clear board, and then just grab it and set up for next turn.
Same thing with Awakening of the Flame King.
Yeah, that one's, yeah.
I have another question. Did you test with like Rookegg instead of the Desert Miner?
It felt slow,
Yeah.
and a Desert Miner gets me closer to where I need to be faster.
Yeah, because I was just thinking about you can sacrifice Desert Miner to both Guinevere and Dark Alice. So gaining those moons is I think better than
Like if I don't need a moon, I can sack it for draw power. But usually I'll just be like, all right, just play it, sack it for a moon, just like immediately. If I have Isis on board.
So like this sounds like I was telling them that feels like with Izanami and stuff like that, there's a much higher consistency level in this, and obviously Guinevere helps greatly with that as well. So with the consistency and speed, like what decks do you actually have a problem going against? Because usually with these types of things, there's a lot of risk and stuff involved with the high speed and late game stuff and all that, but feels like some of those problems at least are solved by Izanami and Guinevere.
I feel like it's an even matchup with most decks right now. I feel like it's better than average against Melgus right now, just for being able to interact, because I've transformed from throwing all my stuff on the board turn 1 and 2 to holding up will, being able to interact with Melgus, and then after I survive his initial burst, I just do whatever I want to and then one-shot him.
Do you mainly go for like the 10 moons sacking those
I've found that to be the best route to victory right now, because Gnarly's not going to be able to stay on the board for more than one turn in this meta right now. Yeah. I can't keep multiple Gnarlys on the board. I could keep Isis on the board for some reason, but not Nyarlathotep.
And what about the bottom left card here, the Minerva edition?
Country of the Sun, that gives my Resonators Eternal on my turn.
Is that useful, just coming into your turn?
It says Ploki, I don't care about Ploki. Because I just play Minerva, and they're like, okay, I can't Ploki on your turn. One-shot you?
Yeah.
That's nice. Was there anything you would change in this after having finished that event?
I'm actually running 41 cards in that list. I would be taking out both of these Surters and raising my raise count to 3.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about taking out the Kanas because they were useful in some matchups, but like they were just an extra win more card after testing.
Yeah.
Do you know what you would take, like, replace with the Kanas?
Probably bump Fallen Angel and Miner back to 4 and then do something with the last card. Because Fallen Angel's great. There's just good. It's like I can quick cast a Dark Alice, pitch a Fallen Angel, block something from Melgus, and also banish the Fallen Angel from my grave to get rid of the token.
So obviously you probably think so, but do you think that the ice now with these new cards and stuff, that the Isis deck is one of the big contender decks in Force of Will right now, or is it sort of just like a regular deck that under the right pilot is one of the better decks type of deal? Like what do you think on just the ruler and deck type in general at this point with the new cluster?
I feel like you can play the shell of Isis and then fill in cards that you want to play, where you're going, depending on what you're going to be going for or what you're going to be going to. Like if you know you're going to be playing more Ploki matchups, you could just have to like build specifically against that. Like there's probably like 16 flex spots because I just built it. You have your regular Isis shell, of just Isis, Gnarly, Minor. It's set like draw cards and then just fill it in with responses or fill it in with more things that you can get aggro with. Like Firefox, I think from this new set is pretty good, being able to just swing for 5 and then keep a 4/4 on the board.
Yeah.
That's what you ran, Joey.
Yeah, I like Firefox a whole lot. Like I think he stays as a 5/4 too, right? Because I think he gets his +1/+0.
He pings yourself for 4, and he gets +1/+0 in swiftness.
But he keeps the +1/+0.
No, it's until end of turn.
Right? Oh, okay.
So you just keep the 4/4, but
yeah,
it still forces them to deal with it instead of just being like, all right, I'm gonna bolt you.
Yeah, no, I've really loved like the 1 cost swiftness stuff. Like I really like Sandstorm, and I wish Sandworm, and I wish Sandworm had gone a little bit further, and Scorpion too. But I think this Firefox is like better than both of them.
I agree.
Sure.
Yeah. So in the rune deck, what was the use of Poison Stinger?
Kill tokens.
Okay.
That was it. Kill tokens.
I was like overanalyzing, like maybe he's doing the moonburn thing. It's just doubling the
Nope.
damage or something.
It was there specifically to kill tokens.
Okay.
Yeah, it kills a Melga's token too, which is I didn't think about. There's a lot of that's really cool.
What I didn't realize also was that when I was playing with Jeremy, it also kills his acolytes. When I played against him.
We're about to get to his list here in a second.
Yeah, his list is really good. I made a misplay and I lost to it. Sacred Spirit is a really good card. I tapped wrong, didn't leave a Heat Ray open to play Sacred Spirit when he played Zeus Alice, and I lost.
How many people were at this event?
It was only 13, but it was stacked as heck because there was like me, Jeremy, Ryan. Josh was going to come, but he didn't end up coming. A couple people that I took to GPs with me before. A couple Chicago locals, and then one of Jeremy's buddies from his locals, and then another one from his locals. And I'm like, man, there's a lot of people here that are really good at Force of Will.
And so you are from Chicago area?
I'm from like Northwest Indiana. It's close enough.
Okay.
Basically Chicago.
And you have a pretty good locals going, or how's that?
It's debatable. We're all like spread out. Like there's like 2 people every 10 miles.
Oh, okay. If you don't mind just going over with us, just Jeremy's list, since that's something you played against, right? Because you made the finals, right?
I need to pull it up.
If you look in chat, I have it pulled.
It's
here.
actually there.
Yeah.
Nice and convenient.
I don't know. I guess if you want to give us some insight, because we'll just kind of like stumble through or fumble through it otherwise.
What did he run?
He ran the Atom deck, which is
He ran the Atom control.
Okay.
Adam like Salas.
And that was
combo.
what got first place?
Yeah. I lost him in finals. I only lost to Ryan and Swiss because my deck decided to give me a single Heat Ray in 9 stones. And then lost to Jeremy in finals.
Yeah. So he's running a blue, white, red list.
He's running Guibers. That's crazy.
The Guibers, I think he decided he was taking out after the event. Because they were just awful.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think like it seems like a decent tech in there once you look at all the 1 cost, but
yeah, but when he was mostly focusing on the Zalus plays.
yeah.
Like he's playing Yokai Festival, just hard casting a Zalus sometimes. His Light Vapors let you do that.
I'm surprised he only plays the 2 Kaguyas. Is he not a fan of them, or because I thought most lists were running like 4 of them, or the previous lists.
So he's not playing green as a base color. So unless he hits an Atom to Grave with a Dark Alice on field, his only way to play it, which he actually did against me and I hated it, he gets the Kaguya with Misty Woods from Grave, because he pitches it with Dark Alice, and then he just reanimates it with Misty Woods.
Yeah. Yeah, that's nasty.
I think Joey did that.
You
too
go. You
once.
guys go ahead. I
What?
can't see the list, so.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you could.
The Seal of Lenneth
I'm
are actually a
streaming.
really good tech right now.
I
Seal of
know,
Lenneth
it-
answers a lot of things for just one.
Yeah, is that what I was talking about?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I only had I put 2 in my deck to test it when I was playing against Oscar and Joy. I ended up really liking it a lot. So I'm gonna
They're
take out some other
pretty-
cards to put more in there.
They're pretty crazy. They're pretty crazy cards.
Yeah, he removed my Isis with Seal, and I attempted to raise and revive it, and that's what we did the Kaguya thing, and I'm like, oh, well,
That's a nasty, like 2, 3 for.
Little Scout, right? That's her name. Alice's Little Scout. What was her ability in?
when she dies, you
When
draw a
she
card.
dies, yeah, you draw a
Okay.
card.
Basically, she's
really good
she's a chump blocker for a Melgus matchup, or you can sack her to Gwyn, draw 3.
Yeah, I mean, looking at these 3 lists we've looked at so far, I like that Guinevere is like something like the staple card. And
Guinevere Dark
Well,
Alice?
yeah, her and Dark Alice are like that draw power.
Yeah,
What was the
Like,
other
it's
one?
just too good.
Ryan's list?
yeah. I'm looking at that one.
What was Ryan's list?
Melgus.
The
Melgus.
Melgus system. Yeah.
Melgus? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
who's running the Guinevere's and Rook Eggs and Percivals. Yeah, something you like. They all 3 lists are drawing like incredibly crazy draw power.
Oh, trust me, like, I've been testing a lot. Like, at least my deck, I've drawn down to 22 cards in my deck by, like, turn 3 sometimes.
Wow.
Yeah,
It's like, the amount of draw power you get from playing a Guinevere, and then having a, so if I flip a Scorch Bales and a Heat Ray, you can Guinevere, and then next turn, at the end of your opponent's turn, you can flash in a Dark Alice, and you draw 2, discard 2 or whatever, and then you Power of Mortality your Dark Alice, and you sack it to Guinevere, and you keep drawing more cards.
yeah, that's gross. I completely forgotten that that Dark Alice is quick cast, and you can sack her to Guinevere on her like if, you know, if you play Guinevere
Yeah.
and then you play Dark Alice, you can even sack her on your opponent's turn.
So on this list, why were we seeing the Acolyte of the Sun? Like, we hadn't seen that in a list. I think since it had come out, and it was probably in there for.
When I
for other
talked to
reasons.
Jeremy about it, he basically played it so that way his opponent had to deal with it somehow. Otherwise, he would be getting yokai just next turn or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, just since it ramps him to yokai, your opponent just needed to deal with it, or he could just play a Dark Alice with it. Like, if his opponent did deal with it, plays Dark Alice, he plays Whispers. Like, it was
Yeah,
just
it definitely
advantage for
makes-
him, unless
Yeah.
they killed it, like, when he played it, immediately.
It's definitely a big removal, like lightning rod. That makes sense.
Yeah. That's
Do you
cool
think-
though too. That it's like at this event there's it sounds like also like a pretty wide plethora of deck types going on here.
Let's see, I had a buy round one, which made me sad because I really wanted to play Force of Will, so I got to sit there and watch people. I sat there and watched Ryan and my buddy play a Melgus Mirror, and I'm like, oh, man, this is fun.
So in top 8, or I guess overall breakdown, what were some of the rulers that made it? Because we're just curious if a lot of the ones utilized in Strangers were there.
We didn't check top 8, really. We checked top 4 because we only had 13 people there. We played out top 4.
Okay.
Top 4 was, since Jeremy conceded a game. He won both games out of the match, but he conceded it so that his friend would get the invite because he didn't have a invite yet.
Okay.
So seeding was Ryan, me, my buddy who's on Melgus, and then Jeremy. So Ryan was undefeated. I had a loss, and my buddy had a loss, and Jeremy had a loss. I played in Swiss. I played by Melgus Faria. The Faria list was pretty good. It just
Faria seems like a good like control.
She does seem like a good control ruler, but I don't see a big win con with her unless you're playing like into Plokies or something else.
You think she's structured good with the Knights of the Round Table?
My opponent was really trying to get Arthur, and I just yeah.
Yeah, I mean Arthur seems pretty. Like besides, there's like light raise and revive and the other removal spell, both do take care of him though.
Yeah, I ended up being able to slam an Athena and go up to like 76 life, and he just couldn't kill me.
Athena's pretty crazy.
Athena's really good.
So overall, like your take on it, like what's the top decks that people should look out for? What are things people should be aware of? And what is some that it's like people may be thinking are top, but it's like, no, let that go. It's actually this. Like, what's your take on all that?
Ploki is always going to be an issue as long as harvesting season exists. So that's obviously there. People are going to have to learn some way to deal with Ploki. If your deck can't deal with Ploki, you should be sitting across from anyone.
Yeah.
Atom Control is neat. Like I said, Sacred Spirit is a really good card. And if you're light, you better be playing it. Otherwise, I don't know what answer you have to Zalus. Unless you're like Lich or Lucifer and you have Black Rosario or something. And I don't know why you'd be playing those right now. I don't think Melgus is that great right now, to be honest. I definitely think Isis is better, just because Rune Deck is, in my opinion, better than the Strangers that Melgus randomly hits, but that's a toss-up because Josh will probably yell at me if he hears this podcast and hears me talking shit.
He listened for a bit. I don't know if he still does as much as he used to, but maybe he knows you're on here. He'll watch it.
I don't know. Maybe.
So, I was going to say something. I lost train of thought completely, actually.
Who else is around? Faria's a decent control deck. I don't think she's going to be up there until we get, like, Valentina next set, and then Faria just takes off in control, or Valentina takes off in control. But one of those two blue decks is going to just
That's
go
what
insane.
I was going to lead into, is, like, obviously when more Stranger stuff comes in, you have some things that can splash in the older list. You think that Strangers will start to... Strangers meaning the Stranger rulers, we can get to, being potentially better and better, each one.
Yeah, Strangers, obviously, just like we had Rune Rulers just progressively get better and better.
Yeah.
Even though, of course, Gil was still a thing all the way through that cluster. Gil was a thing. Nobody wanted to deal with it, but we had to.
Do you think like Priscia is also going to hit like similar to maybe Valentina getting really good? Do you think Priscia is gonna
I think
be able to benefit from like Melgus like aggro stuff, or
it depends on what Priscia does. Like if Priscia just like I don't know what Priscia's Regalia would do now, since her old one produced will to produce Sacred Beasts. I don't really know what she would do right now, even though she's green-red. All I know is that Blasting Waves is getting reprinted, and I'm playing Isis Control with Kaguyas.
That's true, yeah. I keep forgetting that, we'll have more dual stones,
Yep,
which will open
Blasting
up
Waves,
different
Dark
decks
Depths. Blasting Waves
passively.
buffs a lot of decks. Dark Depths just says Ploki gets to do whatever it wants. You need to be able to play against Ploki. And then Deep Woods, just that control deck, if you're playing Deep Woods, it's going to be really good.
green, blue, white.
Yeah.
It's really good.
That's true. Yeah, those will just, regardless of what new cards come out, having that extra color access technically just opens up different decks without actually printing any new cards on top of it. So yeah, that'll be super interesting. Okay.
I was gonna say one last question for him. I had is are you excited about the whole crossover with what's it, Ghost in the Shell?
Oh, Motoko, the
Well,
card that.
looks like we might
Well,
get her.
the booster box.
Oh, the booster box thing.
Yeah.
It's okay. I'm not super hyped for it because like I want to wait to see it before I get super hyped for it.
Yeah. Do you think it has potential of bringing in new players?
Definitely. People people who play this game like anime or something. I don't know. What's anime?
Right. Did you guys have any other questions? No.
No.
I actually
Honestly,
forgot
thank
a thing
you.
about
yeah.
talking about decks, and it's Motoko combo, and you need to be able to deal with Motoko combo because you're going to get blown out
Oh yeah.
if you can't deal with it.
What is that
It
exactly? Because I'm
seems-
not familiar
it
with
seems
it.
crazy cheesy.
It's if you
Seems
get
like the cheesiest thing ever.
so if you're Ploki, you can go second, and you just have dark stones. So you just like flip a black stone, and you're just harvesting and energize into a scrap and build, and pray to God you hit Motoko off the top 10 cards. There is no way to interact with that. Period. There is no priority phase. The chase is empty once harvesting season resolves. You can scrap and build, and part of the cost is to remove all the cards from your graveyard. So there's no way to interact with it.
Yeah, and you run 46 machine resonators, right?
It's 36.
Okay, 36. I'm thinking 50 card total.
And
But
then
yeah,
Shadow of
and
Kronos
basically,
to
yeah.
fix blue if you flip that or something. The Hanzo version says even has Sealing Scroll to do it too, and it's just, oh my god. I had to play Ryan in the OLS with it, and he just killed me on like turn 2. Because like turn 1 he went into Motoko, and turn 2 he played a repair bug and swung with Motoko twice, and I just died.
Airbug.
It's awful. I hate it so much. That is the one thing
So
that I have a problem with in my deck right now.
Is the Motoko matchup?
Is the Motoko matchup.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Is there any way to deal with it once Motoko is out? Or
If they play
you
a
kinda
Shadow
just-
first, not really, unless you can kill the Shadow and then Athenia's Love, or you have like I said with the Zaluses, you have Black Rosario if you're Lucifer, which is not great deck right now.
I guess you could possibly Awaken of the Flame King. Try
Like
and
Awakening
take
into
advantage of it.
Gnarly would kill it. If I had a moon on the board from my turn 1.
Well, I was saying you could force them to banish the Motoko if they don't have anything else on the
Does
field.
I have to read Awakening again? I didn't think it had a banish mode. I thought it was just 400 to
It-
the board or 800 to a player,
Or forces them to.
or it
banish
forces them to
something.
banish a card. It costs 3 though. I don't
It's
like
something.
paying 3 for it.
Yeah, no, it's.
I think you're dead by then.
Yeah, if they get it off already, you're.
Yeah, like it's Athenia's Love, or find some way specifically in your deck to take it out. Like if I go like Gnarly into Power of Mortality, I can kill it, but they gain another 14 life off of it, and doesn't feel good at all. But then it's a better matchup against just machines in general. You just win the machines matchup. So if they if they can't get another Motoko, you win the matchup. But if they get another one, it's very hard to deal with.
Yeah, it's interesting. I guess we'll wrap it up there since we're hitting the 1 hour mark.
Yeah. Thank you for coming on and clearing a lot of that up, because
really
like we were like I said, we didn't know what was going on, and like
There was
insight
some
on
good
that was actually
force will
really
played at that
helpful.
event.
It's always nice getting like other more experienced people who play a lot of the best decks and just play those
Play test
matchups
a lot.
again and again and know kind of a lot of the ins and outs of what people are building. Best decks.
I've been trying to
Yeah.
get this deck to work for like 3 sets now, and I'm just finally just getting it fine just with the new stuff, and it feels great.
That's awesome. Well, again, thank you for joining us, and thank you for everybody who's listening. and we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks for having me.